throughout the event.
We proudly announce that this activity is a collaborative effort between Suarise and the faculty of the School of Computing and Creative Arts, Binus University International FX campus. We would also like to thank Yayasan Mitra Netra for their support together. We aim to raise public awareness about the urgency of digital accessibility in Indonesia. At the end of this class, we kindly request that all participants provide valuable feedback on today's Binus International A11Y, or known as Ali class. A11Y is a short term for the international term accessibility. The number 11 stands for the 11 letters between A and Y. You can access the feedback form through the link, and your feedback is essential for continuously improving our future events and initiatives.
Additionally, we would like to remind everyone about the Empathy Lab pop-up in the lounge. This interactive activity offers a unique opportunity to understand the challenges of digital accessibility and explore accommodating solutions through technology. In addition, you can also enjoy visual presentations that will display on the digital wall, including vision by Demas Revianto, a photographer from Antara, who seeks to visualize the images captured by the visually impaired into visualizations for the sighted. Then there are videos about accessibility challenges that will depict the accessibility challenges faced by visually impaired friends when accessing a digital application in their daily lives. This video, produced by Suarise with the name Video Tantangan Accesibilitas. Last but not least, there is also a video about the creation of inclusive fashion by Dita W. Yola Shasanti, or at Ditut, who made jackets accessible for her husband at Pinot.
And we also invite all the lecturers and the academic community to join us in the lounge to interact and discuss digital accessibility challenges. And we also encourage you to spread this information through your social media platforms. And don't forget to mention at Suarise ID and Binus Inter and hashtag Ali Empathy Lab or hashtag Empathy Lab Goes to Venus. Let's make a difference together.
Now allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Lila.
And I am Nadia.
And we are from Communications Major, and we will be your Master of Ceremony for today's event.
We are passionate about promoting inclusivity and digital accessibility, and it is our pleasure to guide you through this enlightening journey. As we dive into the world of digital accessibility, it is very crucial to acknowledge the current situation in Indonesia. The population of people with disabilities in our country is estimated at 26 million, equivalent to the population of Australia. The law recognizes the rights of people with disabilities, emphasizing the importance of easy accessibility in various aspects of life. However, the fulfillment of digital accessibility remains challenging due to the lack of information and education.
To address this pressing issue, Suarise Indonesia established the Ali ID community, also known as A11YID. This community serves as a platform for individuals involved in digital product development and those interested in discussing digital accessibility topics. With over 500 members, including UI and UX designers, programmers, academics, and technology practitioners, the A11YID or Ali ID community strives to promote equal access and inclusive design. The remarkable enthusiasm of academics, including lecturers and students within the A11Y or ally community, has inspired Suarise to expand educational efforts on digital accessibility at a university level.
Okay, and now we will start this event with welcoming remarks from Ms. Dian Sarawono as head of the communication program from Binus University International Campus. Good morning, Ms. Dian. Please come to the stage. The time is yours.
Hey, thank you, Nadia and Lila. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Digital Accessibility Introduction event. The first time we met Suarise, we were amazed by what they've done with digital accessibility. So, of course, we are down in doing collaborations to introduce digital accessibility to students and also the faculty. We hear a lot of innovations, but we don't really know how it works, what the challenges are, and what we can do. And then we also know that it will take a lot of efforts and process to introduce digital accessibility, but that's why we have to work together to raise awareness about the urgency of digital accessibility in Indonesia. So again, thank you, Mbak Rahmi and Suarise team, for your interest in collaborating with us. We really hope that we can do other projects in the near future. So back to you, Lila and Nadia.
Thank you, Ms. Dian. So, today's A11Y or Ali class is an initiative to introduce and share experiences and knowledge about digital accessibility. Our esteemed expert, Ms. Rama Utami, will guide us through this informative session. But before we begin, let me briefly introduce Ms. Rama Utami. She is the founder and director of knowledge and accessibility for Suarise and also the initiator of the A11Y ID or Ali ID community. Ms. Rahma holds a degree in design and advertising from ITB University, Indonesia, and a Master of Media Practice for Social Change from the University of Sussex, England. With her extensive experience as a creative strategist at a digital advertising agency, she has been instrumental in creating accessible digital campaigns since 2010.
Now, without further ado, I invite Ms. Rahma Utami to take the stage and enlighten us with her valuable insights on digital accessibility. Give it a round of applause, everyone.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can I check? Okay. Okay, good morning everyone
Good morning.
and I hope all of you interested and excited for today's session as we are because thank you Mbak Dian and for all the Binus Academy because this is literally our premiere in terms of Empathy Lab. So this is our kind of launching. So you are the first experience this. So feel free to experience all the scenarios, experiments in all table that provide out there. And we hope those experiments will make a discovery of the day or discovery of the years because in Suaras we usually every meeting we have this discovery of the week and what kind of discovery and hopefully today can bring a lot of discovery for all of you. So thank you for introducing myself. Again, my name is Rahma, and you can call me Rahma, Tami, or Maut. So if there's a lot of Rahma out there, so I am Rahma that Maut. So you can call me Maut. So yeah, it's okay. Uh, and as being said, I actually start my career as photographers and then digital art director and early days in digital marketing and advertising. And most of the time I do creative strategist. And since 2017, since 2014, and actually actively in give trainings either about brainstormings, digital strategy, content, digital marketing. And that's also the time that actually, I remember that SEO don't have eyes. And then it's actually an opportunity for person with vision impairments to do that as well. And as an agency, we also already familiar with remote working base. So that's actually one of the time awakening of the ideas of Suarise. And then while I'm continuing my study in the UK, I also become accessibility consultant at AbilityNet in London. And that's actually, I'm still many knowledge about digital accessibility and bring it to Indonesia because AbilityNet is actually one of the pioneering organization in the UK about digital accessibility. It's a little bit different when we apply between here and there and applying here because in the UK they interested in more into the standardization, but here people more interested in how the disability community use their product. So it's totally different inside. And yeah, so I'm starting Swara since 2017. But I want to make this session a bit interactive. So there's a lot of people here, but I want to know your background. So if is there any of you come from the communication background, please raise your hand. Okay. Is there any of you from design background? Okay. Is it visual fashion? Fashion design. Okay. Graphic design. Okay. Is there any of you from computer science? Okay, those handsome boys over there. And or is there any from business background? Okay, we have a kind of fully round. And also, do you ever met person with disabilities out there, but not on charity event? Okay, what event if I may know? What anything, but not a charity context. mall. Okay. Oh, what type of disability? Oh, tunanetra. Okay. Okay, good. And Pak. Okay. Hmm? Hmm. Okay. Okay. My name is Rahma. Okay. That's my sign language for myself. Rahma is like nose because I have very well slanted noise. And then yeah. Second, do you have any family members or relative which is like 65 years old or over? Okay. Okay. I see you. And also, can you guess the number? What is the number shown on the screen? Okay. 28. Okay. Anyone? What is the numbers? Guess the numbers. 21 2, 28 1, 28 2, 12. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? 28, 12, 24, 23. Actually, the answer is 12. But actually, this is the way some of our friends see. So this is the one of the simulation for the colorblind. So if I think most of the people in the design graduate have this test, right? And so this is the way some colorblind see. This is the total colorblind. So there are tritranopia, deuteranopia, and then total colorblind. But basically, if you say it like that, it's pretty much like this, the experience. And you can also have first experience of dyslexia colorblind in table C. So you can request for scanner table C out there for further experience. So yeah, the last one. Which keyboard being used by a blind people? Is it the one on the right side, Braille display on the left side, the B, this ordinary keyboard? Which one? Anyone who answer Braille display, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The right hand side. Okay, pretty much. And the left side, the ordinary keyboard. Any of you? 1, 2, 3. And the answer is unless it is multi disability, like a blind and deaf, most of the people use the B, the very ordinary keyboard that we use every day. So let's say if someone think that if I want to recruit a vision impairment, the blind one, we need to provide the braille display, braille printer. No, a very same keyboard, the very same laptop that we use, only install something called screenreaders. And again, the experience, you can experience this keyboard session in the B table later and also in the lab for this keyboard and computer experience. Okay, hopefully it's warming up the sessions. So having standing here, always bring back to me when we start Suarise. We start actually as a digital content writing training for the blind in 2017, and our session already hybrid. So even before pandemic, we already like remote session, hybrid sessions ahead of the time. Although we didn't use Zoom back then, but then we also discover our first digital accessibility issue. It was about pop-up. So during the trainings, we always ask the students to compare, to analyze, to visit this website and that website, and analyze the content and create a new content from that. And then one day, when we do the offline training sessions, someone asked me, "Mbak Rahma, can you come here? I kind of don't know where I am right now." So when I see the screen, it's a pop-up. And what happened was the cursor is stay behind. So the thing is she cannot click anything because the pop-ups is active. Supposed to be the cursor only on the pop-up and the background is deselect. But because of that, she cannot click anything, and it takes a while until the end of the website to finally reaching the pop-up and click the close button. And even the pop-up cannot be closed by escape, by pressing escape. Another sessions, they trap on the mega navigations. So they cannot skip the navigation to reach the articles. Or sometimes the website is not in an order manner. So the screen reader, like reading on the top and then on the bottom below and then back to the top, and it can be confusing. So that was our experience in digital accessibility in the website. And then we also discover about this. Um, Her name was Juwita, and she asked me, Barahma, there is a button that I don't know in this app, which is Gojek actually. What is this button? There's a lot of button like this. Why you don't know? Because it's announced as button. What is it? So apparently it is the like button, the love button, the left hand side of the button add. And then, oh, that's a love button. You can add your favorite menu to that. Okay. And this one, the same. So every menu has this? Yes. But it's only read by button. Okay. And we discovered that actually this is both challenge and opportunity because we see the freedom in accessing something. They really can get their freedom when they have accessibility. And also a challenge because no matter how good they are in their knowledge, if they have challenging in exploring the digital ecosystem, it becoming a barrier and it can slow down. And perhaps some of the employers think that they cannot perform well, but actually it's not their mistake. It's not about their skill. It's about the environment. So that's why um, this is actually about digital accessibility. Accessibility itself is not only digital but also physical, like ramp, tactile pavements. But today's session we only talk about digital accessibility, and the convention is LI. So don't worry to mention I11Y, just say LI. It's exactly pronounced as ally because it's too verbal, like accessibility. You're getting tired a lot by saying that. So digital accessibility is how usable a website, app, or other digital experience by any means possible by any people, regardless their ability or disability, with or without assistive technology. The function itself is enable the community to search, to find, to access, to explore, rather than wait. So we can have the freedom to access Gojek, to watch, to go to the restaurant or anything. So actually, that can be happen as well if the accessibility um, is take place. But if you notice, and it's also you will have this symbol on your desktop, in your laptop, in your phones, and why there is no wheelchair in the symbol? Can anyone answer why there is no wheelchair on the symbol? Anyone? Or I will give some mic to someone. Oke, ke bapak yang senyum-senyum deh.
Okay. Um, Maybe because accessibility is for everyone.
Okay. Because accessibility is for everyone regardless their condition. Any other answer?
Maybe because the person with wheelchair they still able to use all the other technological stuff, bisa tetap mencet, bisa tetap netra dan lain-lainnya.
Okay. Anyone from this side? Okay.
Maybe disability is not always about wheelchair, and the symbol that there's no wheelchair on the symbol because um, they want to show that with accessibility that disability people can use uh, the platform freely.
So we have two correct answers. Sorry, Bu. And also, And also, some disabilities are hidden. You cannot see it. For example, if someone deaf, you cannot really see if he or she deaf until she said or she speak using sign language. Or if someone, let's say, a mental disability or cognitive disability, you cannot really see it. So it's also about that. But basically, you're becoming able when you use this all the technology and all the hidden. So especially for the graphic design people, please don't use symbol of wheelchair again because it brings a lot of concern. Unless for maybe for parking, wheelchair parking, maybe that's fine. But in general, we try to eradicate the symbols of wheelchair because it's bring a lot of mistakes in perceptions. Welcome, Yanni. So there's also many misconceptions about digital accessibility. The first one is the website should be different. Well, actually, the very same website, the very same Gojek, the very same Grab, the very same Binus Maya that we can use is we can use this for each person with disability. And the second, the information should be separate. Not every time, but most of the time, we don't have to. So, for example, people with sight loss, like blind and low vision, will need Braille. Actually, as long as the digital document is accessible, it's fine. Unless deafblind, as I said before. And also developing accessible information is expensive and needs special tools. Actually, we already have the tools. We just need to take a little bit time in terms of adding some process. But it's the very same Visual Studio Code, it's the same Photoshop, it's the very same Figma, it's the very same Adobe Illustrator. So we can use that. And the very same Word, Google, it's already accessible. What can be accessible or inaccessible in terms of digital? Website, app, documents, digital content on social media, and also software. When we talk about disability, perhaps we think about the definitions, but when we sorry for about disability, if we talk about disability, we tend to be the definition of the permanent disability. But when we talk about accessibility, actually we talk about wider range of people. Why? Because this is from Microsoft. Ability is contextual, and there's not only permanent disability. Some people might get disability since they born. Some might get later in their childhood period. Some get later in teenage period. Some get later in adulthood. And actually today we have some communities, some volunteers from person with disability that experience disability later in life, but permanent. But there's also temporary disability. What is temporary disability? Basically, you can recover. It's more likely injury, sickness. So for example, sometimes I experience vertigo, and when I got vertigo, I cannot see screen at all. But I can recover within like 3 days. So that's a temporary disability. And also kind of like arm injury or carpal tunnel or stroke, even stroke. You can recover from stroke, right? And situational disability, actually everything that comes from the external. So for example, if you are on a concert and then you receive a phone call, you cannot listen to that very well, right? You better to choose text over a call. Or you went to a library and you want to play videos, but you don't bring your earphone, then you need to turn on the captions, something like that. So it's not about you, but the environment. And in terms of accessibility, accessibility benefits this whole spectrum. So it's not only about the person with disability. One step that Microsoft suggests in terms of implementing inclusive design is the first, we recognize the exclusion first. In terms of not about a digital accessibility today, for example, in the lift, in the elevator, the main elevator actually doesn't announce where when we are arrived in a certain floor, or whether the lift is going up or going down. but actually the experience happened in the logistic lift. So going up, going down, arrive in what floor, it's a sample of accessibility, to be honest. So what is the exclusions? We need to recognize that, and we learn from diversity, from the background, and also perhaps it getting overwhelmed if you accommodate everyone. It's okay to start from one and then extend to many. So that's one. And then the increased mobility of technology actually increase of moment disability. So again, in terms of accessibility, disability is not a permanent condition. It's moments of disability. And when we talk about accessibility and disability, again, we talk about person, the people, the very person, whether it's permanent or not. And when we talk about person, we talk about persona. We talk about target audience, right? And what we need to understand about target audience is about the characteristic and their goals. There is a panels out there in the persona near the PlayStation, the F table, describing some of the persona that you can read. What kind of persona that can we develop using the concern. But the thing is, we need to empathize. But the empathize is not, it's not only refer to feelings, but actually pre-analytics. What does he or she feel, read, see, or not see? And we need to elaborate the. Anyone here ever heard the empathy map? Empathy map, yeah. Okay. In empathy map, usually you will read what the person see, hear, think, feel. But I will suggest to reverse the empathy map. What the person not see, what the person not hear. So that's also the way we try to emphasize in terms of disability persona. And related to the persona again, um, every of today we talk about communications, we talk about design, right? From the communication we talk to design, and then experience and interaction. And what we need to really focus on is actually the experience and the interactions. Why? Because we need to understand the pattern of the interaction, but we need to know that there are persons with disability who is totally independent, 100% independent. Like usually the neurodivergence, deaf are most likely independent. Independent with accommodation or assistive technology or assistive items. And you can explore most of them in the empathy lab today. Independent with caregiver or assistant in certain situations. And always assisted by a caregiver. And this can be dynamic and contextual because sometimes in a very particular condition, he or she can be independent, but in a very new environment, she might need assistance, for example. The principle is this POUR: perceivable, operable, understandable, robust. Perceivable basically is what information you can receive through your sensory that works. If you can see, you can receive it by seeing. If you can hear, you can see it by hearing. And if someone who cannot see, means he or she can hear or can using touch, something like that. So perceivable is how the information received by the person, and operable how the product, how the experience can be operate well with their limitations or with their capacity. Understandable, whether they understand about the topic, understand about the flow, understand about how to use this and that. And robust is about the compatibility between technology. But most of the time, we talk about the POU. And there's a lot of assistive technology and accommodation that we can use. The left hand side, the assistive technology, actually every one of you have it already in your phone, in accessibility menu. So if you don't know where is it and want to experience more scenario, you can visit the booth again to experience which assistive technology that you can activate and get some tutorials, some experiments in Empathy Lab. And also there is inclusive accommodation. So it is the way we deliver information. So there is no other tools that is necessary to do that. And we will most likely talk a lot about these three: inclusive design, universal design, and accessible design. But the differences between these three is actually the universal design focus on without the need of adaptation. Inclusive design is about full range of human diversity, but today we only focus on ability. And accessible design is about equitable use. Not same experience, equitable use. And universal design emphasizes on the principle, inclusive design more into the process, and accessible design is more into standardization. So, this is Melissa, Ega, traffic light, Laras, and someone's hand. So Melissa using laptop without mouse or trackpad. She is a visually impaired people, blind. Ega using touchscreens without visuals. Someone, the colorblind person, see traffic light without color, but they can understand this because traffic lights always has been red, yellow, green. Imagine if someone create diagonal or X. So there's a design pattern here. Although they cannot see the colors, they understand the information because it always has been delivered that way. Red, yellow, green. Consistency in design. And Laras, she's low vision. Um, she see without glass. This is using the electronic magnifier. And also someone can actually watch Disney Plus without sound. It's using audio descriptions. Sometimes when we talk about digital accessibility, the question is it really worth it to implement it in our organization, in our business, especially because what is the ROI? I mean, we just get honest here. How many target audience? What is the buying power? Usually, it comes as well when we talk about why I need to implement accessibility. First, we already learned about disability in terms of temporary, situational, and temporary, situational, permanent. But we talk about when. So it's not about if. So disability is not far, far away from us actually. And all of us will get old, and apparently we will soon losing our sight, losing our capacity to hear something. So it's not actually very far. It's not about us, but it's really about us, every single of us. The second is disability is a minority depend depend how you see it actually. Um, Minority in Indonesia, but almost the whole Australian citizen. So it depends on how you see the minority issue in terms of disability. And perhaps we don't want to see Indonesia alone. We have the world. So we can adjust the target audience as well here. And it's not benefiting the business, it takes time. Depend. Because, for example, if you implement the accessibility technicalities in a website, it also helps SEO or search engine optimizations. So some of the technical SEO is intertwining with accessibility. So it's benefiting each other. And why it is important? So this is the personal matter, the self one, or the social one. Everyone need to access to information equally, so there won't be um, exposed to disinformation, misinformation. Imagine if the media media website is not accessible. So how do these people can cross check the informations? And election is almost there. So imagine the news. So yeah. And then the second one, access to knowledge, formal and informal. The fact is most of the person with disability is not even get the opportunity to get higher educations. Most of them stop in the high school or even medium high school. And also there's not a lot of options that they can choose when they go to the higher education, simply because the university don't know how to deliver accessible or inclusive teaching method. So the choice is very limited. Job opportunity, digital economy, I guess everyone want to earn opportunity in this, access to service, but as a very human, everyone want to be independent, have options, and have meaningful participations. So that's actually why we need to implement accessibility. And the question always has been like this: where should I start? Where? I'm I'm just a student. I'm just a lecturer. Where should I start? Find and meet one. This is the very first recommendation because oftentimes people try to create solutions without meeting the beneficiaries, without meeting the person, and they assume about the problem. So that's a very problem. So the very first problem is assuming about the problem and assuming the solutions. And I think if you ask the community, they can tell you very well. And this is also before we start Suarise, we meet the organization that becoming our partner, Mitra Netra, and we ask whether the way we want to conduct the training will it helps the community or not. So find one and talk. And my suggestion, not in charity setting, always like today, this is not a charity setting, it's a technological settings. And the second one, you can start to add alt text to social media. Alt text a hidden text. In social media, in every single social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and alt text can deliver information for the blind and low visions about what is the content of this image. And there's also simulation about alt text in some table A or either A1 or accent you can try. And we also have this guidance, content bisa diakses. All of you can access it for free, how to write a good alt text. And explore the technology that you already on your hand, because most of you already have it, the technology. And join like-minded community because you're not alone. Because sometimes when you think that you're alone, it's so hard to, why it's only me that going through this way, so join the community. The Ali ID community, it's on Telegrams. And when we go very serious one, there's a standard. Don't worry, there is a standard. The Android standard, the Apple standard, the website standard called WCAG or Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Starting from this year, most of the global use the way WCAG 2.1 and chasing the level AA. So there is A, AA, and AAA. AAA is only for specific usage, so the standard is most likely on the AA. And final thoughts. When we talk about ability or disability, actually, we don't talk about impairment. And the very today's sessions is also want to deliver. There's a lot of technology. There's a lot of solutions. There's a lot of accommodation examples. And social model disability emphasize in people are not disabled by barriers. People are disabled by barriers in society, not by their impairment, because they simply do things differently. Some people might read through the eyes, some people might read through the ears, some people might read through the colors, but the accommodation exists, the standard exists, the technology exists. If the people around them is not accommodating, it's the real disability actually. So when they really, when ignore, it's really becoming the disabled part. So thank you. After this, we're going to listen the demonstration from Yani. And again, please fill our feedback form because we really appreciate your feedbacks and how to make this session better. And also in empathy lab, there's a lot of feedback form, different one. And we hopefully Binus is the first one, and we don't want to stop at Binus only, like having this session. So yeah, now I want to introduce Yani. Come on, Yani. Oke, dua tangga, satu, dua. Oke, oke, this is Yani. Ya, kasih Elvis, sini aja. Aku di sini. Oke, udah masuk. Udah masuk semua ya? Masuk dulu ya, sambil aku nanya. Oke, this is Yani. She's Yani. Yani is entrepreneur ayam geprek and also blind coffee. So you can visit her in di mana Yani?
Di Petukangan Selatan, Jakarta Selatan.
So you can visit her cafe. She also Suarise batch 2 participant, so she is also digital content writers. You can hire her. And sometimes she also disability user tester. And Yani has been blind since 2006, yeah. Okay, can you share to us the cause?
Boleh ini. May I speak in Indonesia? Soalnya bahasa Inggrisnya pasif banget, takutnya cuma bisa yes no yes no, I love you, ribet nanti kan. Selamat pagi semuanya, yang terhormat Sivitas Akademi Binus. Perkenalkan, nama saya Yani. Saya nggak usah tanya umur, seumuran lah ya. Apa namanya? Alhamdulillah sudah mengalami ketunanetraan sejak tahun 2006, tadi kata Mbak Rahma. Saya juga salah satu talentnya Suarise. Apalagi ya, tadi saya kegiatannya selain content writer freelance di Suarise, saya juga ada usaha di ayam geprek Petukangan dan juga blind coffee specialty, komunitas kopi tunanetra. Hari ini kita akan apa namanya, demo kalau misalnya kami itu kemajuan teknologi itu benar-benar membantu. Kami bisa beraktivitas banyak, bisa berpendidikan karena kemajuan teknologi. Kebetulan tahun lalu juga baru wisuda. Semoga nanti S2-nya bisa di Binus ya, Mbak. Apa namanya, teknologi. Jadi kalau teman-teman mungkin bingung kok ngelihatnya apa namanya bisa pakai handphone gitu. Dulu juga sama, kami juga bingung kok ternyata bisa pakai handphone gitu. Ternyata bisa. Mereknya pun apa aja. Mungkin teman-teman sering dengar suara Google di YouTube gitu-gitu ya. Nah seperti itu. Jadi handphonenya semua sama, laptopnya sama. Saya boleh join itu dulu.
So Yani will share the screen of her phone with us. So because you cannot see the screen right right here, so you can see Yanni's screen on the screen behind you. And then we will witnessing how Binus accessibility. Zoom, zoom.
Nih.
Ya nanti share screen. Nah, belum nyampe sih. Zoomnya. Ya. Okay. We will wait a bit. Okay. Can you see Yanni's screen? Okay.
Saya akan membuka.
technical issue.
Benar juga ya. Bentar ya.
Hilang suaranya.
Kok hilang
Kalau
suara?
hilang suaranya aku jadi bingung.
Ini ada. Oh, ini letakannya aku tahu. Jadi tadi tuh si loudspeakernya hilang. Dibilang join audio, suaranya sangat setting. Coba aku matiin aja. Kamu matiin.
Pengen matiin apa? Itu screenreadernya.
Yang pakai yang off. Aku pakai yang belakang soalnya. Ini itu. Oh, speakernya hilang. Share. Jadi ininya harus. Ini akan reverb sih.
Matiin dulu aja.
Kok malah screenshot. Coba dinyalain screen readernya lagi. Nah, udah.
Screennya masih ada.
Oke.
Udah di mute sih. Coba. Usually we do this kind of demonstration online, so it's our first time doing offline.
Ini saya buka Safari, lalu buka Binus Maya ya.
Share screen-nya belum?
Belum.
Udah dimatiin. Geserin sih. Oke, coba.
Udah di screenshot.
Belum. Oke, baiklah. Let's do the manual way. Kadang-kadang itu share screen. Kok tiba-tiba menghilang share screen-nya? Wait. Oh, ini dia. Screen. Kenapa kalau loudspeaker dia baru nyala saya screen readernya?
Udah share screen berarti? Udah. Saya buka Safari. Nah, dulu saya pikir aksesibilitas itu khusus gitu ya buat teman-teman tunanetra. Ternyata aksesibilitas itu adalah sesuatu yang bisa dinikmati semua orang ya Mbak Rahma ya. Siapapun dia, bagaimanapun keadaannya, termasuk kami teman-teman disabilitas. Nah, buat membaca ini kami udah dibantu oleh screen reader atau pembaca layar, dan itu udah ada di handphone dan kalau di Apple udah ada gitu ya, kalau di Android juga sama udah ada. Kalau teman-teman yang melihat itu, kalau handphone tinggal dilihat terusnya di touch gitu aja kan ya. Nah, kalau kami kan nggak tahu tuh yang di touch yang mana gitu kan ya. Jadi harus swipe satu-satu. Nah, ini boleh Mak? Yang ininya. Ini dia bilang logo, mungkin bisa di ininya, bisa di handphonenya biar kedengeran. Oh, itu ya. Nah, ini kalau di sini dibilangnya logo. Ada logonya benar? Benar ya? People Innovation Excellence. Oke. Login, nah ini nih, login HTML dia bilang. Lagi login HTML. Login HTML. Login HTML. Ini sampai ada 20-an swipe, saya harus ini masih login HTML terus, saya swipe ke kanan. Nah, baru Binus Maya logo, login, visited link. Nah, ini tadi karena ini akun dari sini, tadi dibantu login. Ini saya klik di sini. Nah, jadi tadi login HTML tadi tuh nggak kebaca tuh sama saya, cuma taunya itu login HTML. Ternyata apa?
Itu karusel. Gambar karusel yang harusnya sih setiap gambar kebacanya itu ada alt text-nya harusnya. Dan harusnya bukan kebaca HTML, jadi kemungkinan besar itu di kontainernya di bawah label login. Dan bukan di dalam image. Terus tidak bisa di skip atau karena harus di explore semua. Padahal harusnya misalnya kayak image satu, image doang, terus bisa dipilih image yang mana, tapi ini harus dipaksa melewati, nggak boleh skip gitu ya.
Nah, ini ada icon 9 juga di sini dibacanya di paling atas. Dibaca di sini adalah icon 9. Ternyata apakah?
Icon menu ya itu.
Nah, ini lalu vertical line, academic service, logo, new lecturer, server time, no data available, to-do list, no data available. View all to-do list button. Button ini tombol, kalau buat kami itu bisa diklik. Kalau di sini ada kata link, ada kata button, itu biasanya akan mengantarkan kita ke halaman yang lain. Sosial media, mana? Okay. Binus Maya link, Universitas Bina Nusantara, copyright. Manajemen sistem. Kalau sebenarnya secara keseluruhan udah bisa diakses, tinggal tadi aja yang ada icon 9 tadi ya, terusnya login HTML itu aja sih. Dan kalau dalamnya kan kita nggak tahu juga ya. Ada lagi mau di
But actually there's something wrong. Do you realize what is? Pop up. So, jadi di depannya nih ada pop up ya nih. So, ada pop up isinya pengumuman LOS 2023 isi binus at JWC.
nggak ada. Biasanya pop up kebaca juga. Ini learning management system. Oh, ini lecturer opinion service. Your feedback. Kalau seperti ini harus di sentuh-sentuh, berarti baru bisa ke akses. Karena tadi geser ke kanan, dia kadang langsung server time. Kita sentuh lagi, baru dia ke sini.
So, I understand that usually pop up is placed in the DOM, is very low, right? But if you have a pop, the background need to be disabled. The today's demonstration show that when the pop-up shown, the background is not disabled through the code. So that's why Yani cannot access the pop-up directly, while actually pop-up intended to be, hey, this is the very first information you need to read, right? But now the condition is the opposite. She can only read the pop-up after she finished the page. So it's the coding issues. Okay. Now let's see the Binus International, shall we? Binus International. So Yani, Yunis using iPhone, but in our Empathy Lab, you can explore whether you are using iPhone or Androids or laptops.
Binus International. Ini pertama kali dibilangnya slash link. Apakah? Pertama kali dia bilangnya slash link. Slash itu garis miring ya berarti ya. Lalu Type to search, ini kotak pencarian. Binus International visited link. Binus Jakarta, Binus Bekasi, Binus Bandung, Binus Malang, Semarang, About Us, Program, Students, ini ya, Admission ya, Alumni, Galeri, Scholarship. Ini kebaca semua. Ini ada Home, ini Media, Welcome to Binus International. Nah, tadi di bawah itu ada button, Kak. Nih, button.
There's some hidden button here under Binus International, above the videos. Button over there.
Yang biasanya cuma button, button, button. Biasanya button ada bisa dinamain kan.
Can anyone see the button? What is the button?
Boleh bantu? Ini button apa?
To be honest, from the mobile view, there is no button as well. Oh,
Tapi ini banyak buttonnya. Mas, 3, 4, 5.
navigation carousel.
Oke. Udah, selain itu semuanya kebaca. Ada video profile, watch. Ini ada alamatnya juga di bawah, kebaca semua. Tadi button tadi aja, sama yang pertama kali tadi yang slash link.
For the slash link, usually it's because the page doesn't have the title attribute or the title element. So every page in the website need to have a different title because the title is actually the first one that being announced when it's load. So like welcome to Binus International or like admission page or something. And usually if it's not being announced means that there's title missing in terms of the element usually. So yeah, if you have any questions, thank you Yani.
Sama-sama, bisa ketemu di
Bentar. Ya, silakan. Oh, okay.
But I think those
Issues. Yeah, exactly. Okay, you already made one. That's actually one of the most important part is meet, find, talk with the person with disability. I mean, Suarise also talk about accessibility a lot, but we cannot replace the voice of the users. We know about the technicalities, but as per our experience, it's always better to see the users directly because you get a lot of insight. So there's also Mitra Netra, Yani, Laras, Fadil, Kamal here, so you can chat with them today's. And so, shall we go to the question and answer? Okay, so if you have any questions or answer, feel free to ask whether to me or to Yani. Monggo Pak.
Pengalaman pengalaman saya waktu pas di lapangan, kesulitannya teman-teman netra adalah ketika mendapatkan banyak informasi image. Padahal itu informasinya ada caption di bawahnya, makanya kan kita membuatkan caption di bawahnya. Apakah ada teknologi sekarang yang bisa membaca screenreader image, JPEG, PNG dan lain-lain?
mau jawab dulu atau?
Memang image itu kalau secara default memang tidak dibacakan di screen reader kami. Biasanya kami pakai software tambahan. Kalau seperti di Apple dia ada Envision. Biasanya kami kuliah juga kalau mata apa namanya dapat mata kuliah itu dapatnya materinya via PDF. Nah kadang-kadang ada beberapa dosen yang bingung karena saya udah kasih PDF nih, kok kamu nggak bisa baca gitu kan? Ternyata PDF-nya adalah screenshot gitu kan. Nah itu memang harus pakai aplikasi tambahan. Kalau saya biasanya lebih enak di handphone aja deh, kecuali materi hitung-hitungan ya. Itu memang challenging buat kami. Jadi sudah ada apa namanya yang bisa membacakan apa caption di dalam si image itu sendiri gitu. Jadi sudah ada. Cuma memang kalau bentuknya adalah gambarnya bukan tulisan itu juga tidak bisa dibaca. Misalnya Bapak berdiri dengan jas seperti itu, jadi itu tetap tidak terbaca gitu. Jadi gambar yang sifatnya visual bukannya tulisan juga itu nggak bisa dibaca. Kalau di sosial media seperti Instagram dan juga Facebook dia OCR, mereka sudah bantu baca. Mereka bilang nanti maybe ini adalah 2 orang dewasa kayak gitu. Jadi hanya seperti itu aja. Tapi kalau untuk teks sudah aman. Kecuali matematika ya untuk hitung-hitungan memang kadang-kadang agak sedikit ada yang perlu dikoreksi gitu. Itu mungkin Mbak Rahma bisa tambahin.
So the OCR technology is also still relative, and you can test it on the, if not mistaken, either A apostrophe or A1 table. So you can experience on those tables, and it's not details. The artificial intelligence is still learning to decipher the image and the context. And sometimes when we talk about image, if you ever know how to give caption in terms of journalistic, usually there are 2 sentences. The first sentence is a very description of the image, and then the second sentence is to the context of the news. Actually, the first sentence is similar to the alt text, and not everything on the image need to be described as well. It's really contextual, and those context is still not reachable by the current technology yet. So you can try with some of the apps already installed, and you can also ask what apps need to be installed on our booth. And also it's also related to the contrast of the text. And let's say sometimes Instagram or social media can read text well, image with text, but if the image has several font size, several columns, several alignment, it's getting messy. So alt text is still irreplaceable right now. I guess that's the answers. Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, Ma.
Regarding the alt text, so you said that in some journalistic writing, we also learn how to write captions, and the caption can help the visual impaired persons to understand what's displayed on the picture. But is there any specific needs or requirements that people with visual disability to have to understand the image so that we as writers can write better text for the alt text? Is there any, or is there any standards, or maybe some training to help us to write better alt text for to help to assist the visual impaired persons?
Apa mau dirimu dulu atau aku aja? Okay. So there is something called alt decision tree, and you can read it through our link. We will provide the guidance about the alt text for free, so you can all of read what need to be in an alt text, and how detailed it should be. It's again really depend on the way you want to, what kind of information that you want to rely to the other sides. If color is not important, then you don't have to, let's say, the picture of this room, the audience of the Binus International Accessibility Introduction class, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say 100%, 100 people here with outfit. Not really important actually. But let's say the room full of the Binusians that take attentively to the stage when someone demonstrating um, with the phone in the stage. Let's say something like that. So it's actually visuals. It's actually visuals, but the detail of the visuals that you need to be put inside the alt text is really contextual. So sometimes it's not everything, because let's say in the photography we have foreground, we have background. How important the background compared to the foreground, for example. If the background is also important, say it in the alt text. But if the background is simply just a bouquet or something that need to be doesn't have to be explained, you don't have to. I mean, you can check the detail and some example of in our guide. Oh, and please feel free to share it because we want to make social media more accessible. And also, you can explore the simulations in either A accent or A1 table. Thank you. Elvis?
So, really, we've only seen the demonstration for the phone, but I want to know if there is a difference for people with a disability when they use a laptop. So, like, what's the biggest challenge for them when they use the laptop, and that's like easy for them to be used on the phone?
Before I give the mic to Yani, it's really depend on the type of disability, but I guess for the answer in terms of blind and low vision, I give my mic to Yani.
Saya adalah tunanetra total. Saya juga mengajarkan mengajarkan komputer bicara untuk teman-teman tunanetra. Jadi satu yang memang pasti adalah kami tidak bisa menggunakan mouse karena tidak tahu posisi mouse di mana dan yang mau diklik itu apa. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, kami harus menguasai 10 jari mengetik 10 jari. Itu yang wajib dipelajari sebelumnya untuk menggunakan komputer ini. Jadi kemajuan teknologi udah membantu sekali dan tadi sama yang menghalangi hanya si image aja gitu. Jadi mungkin nanti bisa main ke booth saya di L, kebetulan pakai komputer di sana, mungkin bisa ikutan juga challenge di sana. Kami menggunakan full keyboard gitu. Jadi kami bernavigasi dengan full keyboard dan juga suara dari pembaca layar yang kami gunakan. Untuk sejauh ini laptop atau komputer sudah mendukung, bisa Microsoft Office, oke, internet juga, yang pasti Microsoft yang foto nggak bisa. itu aja, paling seperti tadi juga image aja sih yang memang nggak bisa kebaca dengan baik gitu.
So there are techniques to type and to make or to create accessible documents, and you can explore that in Yani booth, in booth L. But also, if you want to understand about keyboard navigations and no screen reader but keyboard somethings, you can go to the booth B to explore about the keyboard stuff and also other scenarios related to keyboard. Okay, answer. Okay, any questions? Anyone? That's all? Okay. Okay, Yani. Okay, so again, we are welcoming you to explore the Empathy Lab. This is the first Empathy Lab, I can say. So congratulations, Venus, to be our first host. And you can ask and invite people out there to come as well, because there's up to 40 scenario that we prepare for you today with 8 booths from the visual impaired booth. It's from A to B. It's basically if you get outside. It's on our left auditorium, including the including the L. And there's also dyslexia, neurodivergence, colorblindness, motoric and physical disability on the B and C. And I will also stay on that side if you need to ask me anything about things that perhaps the volunteers cannot answer about the technical stuff. And also, we also have the PlayStations. The PlayStations booth, you can play the accessibility features with the PlayStations and some of the simulations. We are playing Last of Us 2, if you ever know. Last of Us 2 is the game that have the most extensive accessibility feature ever so far up to date. And also we have digital wall. We have another tantangan accessibilitas videos, and also the exhibitions photos from our partners Demas about vision. So how do the blind people see? Because not everyone is actually a total blind, not seeing anything. So how do the people see? You can check on the exhibitions in the digital wall, but in terms of interactive in the computer as well, there is an impairment simulator. You can also explore that. And in my booth, we have simulation glasses, the analog, and you can also try that. So I think I give the mic return to the MC. Nih, kasih ini. Bentar, tunggu sama Elvis. Pemenang Q&A-nya.
Thank you, Ms. Rahma and Yani, for providing such an enlightening presentation on digital accessibility. Your expertise and experience are truly invaluable.
And we would also like to thank you all for engaging questions and active participation in today's event. We appreciate your attention and enthusiasm throughout the event. Before we conclude, we would like to remind you once again to provide us with your feedback on today's Binus International A11Y or Ali class by visiting the link bit.ly/binter A11Y class. Your feedback is crucial in shaping future initiatives and improving our efforts toward digital accessibility.
Now, it's time to announce the winners of our Q&A session. These individuals have posed outstanding questions and will be awarded special e-money from Suarise. Congratulations to the following winners. Who are the winners? We kindly request the winners to come up on the stage and receive their prizes.
So, for the winners, I would like to call on Miss Lily, Helsa, and also Bapak who asked. Bapak and yeah. You will get e-money
From Suarise.
From Suarise. Come up to the stage, please. Foto dulu. Okay, tadi udah foto-foto kan ya? Okay, so you all may return back to your seat. Iya. Belum. Belum foto. Miss Dian and Miss Rahma can just stay on the stage. In recognition of the excellent collaboration in organizing this event, Suarise would like to present an appreciation plaque to Binus University International FX campus. We invite Ms. Dian Sarwana to join us on stage. And to receive the plaque, Ms. Rahma will present it on behalf of Suarise.
And now, before we part ways, let's capture this memorable moment with a group photo. And we request all participants who are still present together for a group photo, and our diligent documentation team will capture this significant moment.
Everyone can just hop on the stage to take a picture.
Thank you all for attending today's A11 Wire Ali class. Your presence and active participation contribute to establishing disability inclusion in our country. Let's continue working together towards a more inclusive digital world. Until we meet again, take care everyone and best wishes to all. Salam inclusive. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
Masih banyak.